There comes a moment when even the wind holds its breath, when time, once a rushing river, stills, waiting for your response. You feel it, don't you? That tightening in your chest, not fear, but knowing. A knowing that something is near, something holy, something urgent. You don't remember how you got here, but you do know this moment is not by accident, because something happens when a date is not just a number, but a summons, when the calendar is not just paper, but prophecy. And July 5th is no longer just a day, it has become a gate that only opens for the willing. You may not see the edges of this hour, but the veil is thin. Too thin for silence, too thin for delay, too thin for you to pretend you're not being called. The whisper in your spirit, it isn't your imagination. It's the echo of something eternal calling you by name. Because this isn't just another morning, this isn't just another video. This is a moment written into your story before you were born. You may feel weary, you may feel forgotten. But heaven hasn't forgotten you. Hell hasn't either. And both are watching to see how you respond. You've been crying for a miracle. But what if your miracle has been waiting for you to finally stop scrolling and answer back? This isn't a performance. This isn't a production. This is a warning. You are standing in a thin place where time folds, where heaven bends low, and where the gap between prayer and power disappears. So what will you do now? Will you ignore the sound behind this silence? Will you close your ears again? Will you scroll past the very thing that was sent to rescue you? Because July 5 isn't coming, it's here. And it's demanding an answer. Subscribe now. If you don't, go to the comments and explain why you'd rather risk spiritual silence than respond to a moment that was crafted with your name on it. You are not too late. You are not too far behind. You are not too broken, too quiet, too tired, or too stained. You are not forgotten. Not by God. Not by time. Not by the calling that still burns beneath the ashes of your delay. You are not the sum of your wasted years. You are not the failure you fear you've become, and you are not disqualified because of what you've lost, who left you, or how long you've wandered. You are not invisible. Heaven still sees you, hell still fears you, and earth still needs you. Because what you call delay, heaven calls preparation. What you call silence, heaven calls sharpening. You are not a shadow of who you used to be. You are the shape of someone rising, someone chosen. You are a vessel of fire, a warrior marked by intercession, a keeper of mysteries, a voice that splits atmospheres even when spoken in a whisper. You are a witness. You are a flame bearer. You are the one hell hoped would stay hidden. But the time for hiding is over, because you are standing in the very moment you were built for. All the years you thought were wasted were building your weight. All the pain you thought was pointless was building your power. All the prayers you thought went unanswered were building your volume in the spirit. You didn't miss it. You didn't lose it. It's been waiting for you, and now it's here. This is not the end of your story. This is your appointment with alignment. This is the hour where the fire finds the one who thought their flame had gone out. You were never meant to retire. You were meant to reign. You were never meant to shrink. You were meant to strike. And now you must decide. Will you step forward? Or will you watch others walk in the mantle you were made to carry? You are needed. Subscribe and take your post. If you don't, then be honest. Go to the comments and name the fear that still makes you hide. Say its name. Because if you don't confront it now, it will follow you for the rest of your life. There are traps that don't look like snares. They come wrapped in gentleness. They speak in the tone of a friend. They carry the scent of peace, but leave behind a sleep that steals your fire. Not all danger announces itself with noise. Some of it whispers. Some of it flatters. Some of it calls you wise, while slowly bleeding your discernment dry. You've seen it. That moment when your spirit bristles, but you silence it because you don't want to seem rude. You don't want to offend. You choose politeness over discernment, and demons slip through the door wearing etiquette like perfume. The enemy doesn't always attack. Sometimes he compliments. He calls you humble when you've actually grown passive. He calls you balanced when you've actually grown lukewarm. He tells you it's okay to rest, but what he's really doing is replacing your altar with a couch. This is how fire dies, not with a shout, but with slow comfort, with compromise that feels like wisdom, with conversations that stroke your ego but starve your spirit. He doesn't take your oil in one day. He drains it drop by drop, through flattery, through fatigue, through invitations you were never meant to accept, through platforms that don't carry his presence, through people who love your gift but cannot handle your truth. And then there's isolation, the kind that feels holy but smells like fear, the kind where you say, I just need space, but what you're really doing is hiding from correction, hiding from sharpening, hiding from the very voices that would call you back to your post. You tell yourself you've found peace, but the truth is, you've just settled into silence. And silence, when it isn't God-breathed, is not peace. It's retreat. And retreat is a luxury we cannot afford in this hour. Because while you sleep, the enemy is sowing. While you disconnect, he is recruiting. While you hesitate, he is organizing. He does not need your permission, only your passivity. You thought you were resting, but you were retreating. You thought you were pausing, but you were perishing. And all the while the flame inside you flickers smaller, not from storms, but from silence. If this exposed something in you, don't just feel it, act. Subscribe now so you don't fall asleep spiritually again. Because next time, you may not wake up in time to respond. Or if you're still hesitating, then say it out loud. Go to the comments and admit it. Name the distraction. Name the comfort. Name the silence that's been stealing your fire. Because whatever you won't name will eventually own you. You've seen too much to stay silent now. You've walked through fires that others never survived. You've buried dreams and watched years slip by. And yet, here you are, still breathing, still watching, still burning, even if dimly. But don't confuse flickering with failure. A candle in a dark room still commands the whole atmosphere. This is not retirement. It's refinement, not a season of fading, but of focusing. Because with every scar, heaven was not subtracting, it was shaping. You thought the weight you carry was a burden, but it's authority. You thought the ache in your bones was the sound of ending, but it's the echo of a life being recommissioned. Moses was 80 when the fire found him. Anna was a widow for decades before her voice shook the temple. Paul spent years in silence before his voice shook nations. And you thought you were late. You thought your moment passed you by. But heaven doesn't use clocks. It uses character. You don't carry wounds anymore. You carry weight. The kind that angels recognize. The kind that hell respects. Your pain didn't destroy you. It bought your power. Your waiting wasn't a waste. It was a womb. And now, the delivery is due. This generation doesn't need your silence. It needs your sound. Not just noise, but voice. The kind forged in the fire. The kind that doesn't need a stage to be heard. You're not too old to be dangerous. In fact, you're only dangerous now. Because you've lived. Because you've lasted. Your maturity isn't just age. It's ammunition. Your wisdom isn't decoration. It's a weapon. The enemy wants you to believe you've outlived your usefulness, that you're just meant to watch from the side, that your role is to applaud others from the pews of irrelevance. But the oil on your life didn't evaporate with the years. It's deepened, and oil only flows from pressure. You've earned the right to speak. You've bled for that voice. You've warred for that insight. You carry what cannot be taught, only survived. So what now? Will you spend your final chapters rereading your pain or releasing your roar? Subscribe and let your wisdom speak louder than the world's confusion. Let your voice outlive you. Let your sound ripple through sons and daughters you haven't even met. But if you won't, if you'd rather stay seated in the shadows, then tell us why. Go to the comments and explain why silence still feels safer than purpose. Why hiding still feels holier than fire. Because the world doesn't need another echo. It needs the weight you carry. They won't always understand you, and they're not supposed to. When you carry fire, smoke follows you, and smoke always makes some people uncomfortable. You weren't called to be liked. You were called to be lit. And fire doesn't ask for permission to burn. It's okay to be misunderstood. It's not a curse, it's confirmation. It means you're marked. It means heaven sees something in you that earth can't define. It means you've stepped into a place where language fails, but spirit speaks. So stop explaining your consecration. Stop apologizing for your boundaries. Stop watering down your convictions to keep company with those who lost theirs. This is not arrogance. It's alignment. Because shrinking your circle is not a loss, it's an intensification. Your flame gets brighter when the crowd gets smaller. Your vision gets sharper when the noise dies down. You were never meant to be everywhere. You were meant to be exact. You are not everyone's assignment, and they are not all yours. Even Jesus walked away from the crowd to restore his clarity. He withdrew to regain his fire. So must you. Guard your oil. Don't let leaky people drain what took you decades to collect. Let your no be sacred, not angry, not bitter, just holy. Not everything deserves a response. Not every invitation is an assignment. Not every open door leads to life. Heaven honors holy separation, not because you are better, but because you are becoming. You don't need everyone to understand. You don't need applause. You don't need agreement. You need alignment. With heaven, with holiness, with the truth of who you've become. So if they call you distant, let them. If they say you've changed, you have. If they say you're not who you used to be, praise God. Because the version of you that needed approval died in the fire. Spiritual power doesn't grow in crowded rooms. It matures in private places, in the secret place, in the stillness, in the no one sees, but heaven records. This is the hour to protect your oil. Not just because it's valuable, but because it's rare. The world is running dry, and what you carry is not common. You are not here to entertain, you are here to ignite. And ignition requires isolation. So if you've been too scared to say no, let this channel be your courage. Let this moment give you permission. Let this word become your shield. Subscribe now and take your seat among the remnant. But if you're still hesitating, then go to the comments and tell the truth. What are you afraid to walk away from? Name it. Because if you don't name it, you'll never leave it. You are not just living for you. Every choice you make, every yes whispered in obedience, every no spoken in trembling conviction, reverberates through generations you may never see. You think you're just surviving, but heaven sees you planting. Every act of faith, a seed in the soil of legacy. Every silent prayer, a ripple in your bloodline. Every fast, every intercession, every quiet war you fought when no one was watching, was never wasted. It was never just about you. You are a gatekeeper, a breaker of patterns, a bloodline rewriter. The decisions you make in private are shaking structures in the spirit, dismantling cycles that try to pass down through your family. You may not see it yet, but your yes is echoing in a generation that hasn't even learned your name. Your life preaches louder than your sermons. Your sacrifice is preaching. Your consistency is preaching. Your refusal to quit when quitting would have made more sense is preaching. There are children who will sleep in peace because you chose to war in silence. There are daughters who will walk in purity because you closed doors you could have walked through. There are sons who will know how to lead because you stayed faithful when everything told you to sit down. You may never get the credit. You may never see the fruit with your own eyes. But you are building altars in the dark that heaven will set on fire in generations to come. Your grandchildren will not fight the same demons. Your spiritual sons and daughters will carry the mantle you refuse to let hit the ground. This is not just legacy. It's eternal architecture. What you build now is tectonic. Your obedience shifts the terrain of what's possible. Do not underestimate the weight of your yes. Don't call small what heaven calls seismic. You were never just meant to exist. You were meant to echo. So when you speak, remember, your words are seeds. When you pray, remember, your breath is pushing back darkness for someone you'll never meet. When you worship, remember, your sound is cracking through ceilings that your great-grandchildren will never have to hit. This is the ripple effect of the righteous. This is the echo of the faithful. And you are a living echo. You're not just living for you. Subscribe now, so generations can eat from your obedience. So the fire in your bones becomes bread for the hungry to come. But if you still doubt your impact, If you still believe your voice doesn't matter, then go to the comments and tell us what convinced you of that lie. Say it out loud, because lies lose their grip when truth drags them into the light. You are not fading. You are becoming flame. This, right now, is not a closing act. This is your combustion point. This is where all the waiting, all the wilderness, all the warfare catches fire. You weren't built to retire quietly. You were born to roar. You were born for the moment when your feet hit the floor and hell remembers your name. You are not fragile. You are forged. You are not lost. You are lit. And what's on you cannot be silenced, cannot be buried, cannot be bound. Your destiny does not respond to whispers. It waits for a war cry. So stop shrinking, stop second-guessing, stop standing at the edge of purpose like you're an uninvited guest. You are not a spectator in the kingdom. You are a soldier in the fire. You are heaven's reply to the darkness in your generation. This is not just a video. This is a spiritual summons. This is your call-up. This is where your mantle gets reawakened, your sound gets restored, your spine stiffens again with holy fire. Lift your head, straighten your shoulders, fix your gaze, because the kingdom doesn't need another echo. It needs your original fire. The kind that terrifies apathy, the kind that refuses to die quietly. Let your prayers punch holes in the sky. Let your yes ring like thunder through every principality that underestimated you. Let your life preach even when your mouth is silent. The world is groaning, creation is waiting, and heaven has already said go. Now the rest is up to you. You've been prepared for this. You've been kept for this. And now you must roar, not for attention, but because silence has become disobedience. The earth will not shift until your sound fills the air. The sky will not split until your prayer becomes a strike. And on July 5th, we don't pray cute, we pray urgent, we don't beg, we command, we don't wonder, we would, because this is not performance, this is priesthood. And the altar is set, but only fire answers altars. So bring yours, bring your groan, bring your broken hallelujah, bring your battle-worn whisper, and let it become a shout. This channel isn't for spectators, it's for soldiers, it's for flame-bearers, it's for those who have nothing left to prove, but everything left to release. Subscribe to Pope Leo XIV Unveiled, and take your post, take your place in the roar, or go to the comments and tell us why. Why do you still whisper, when the heavens are waiting for your war cry?